Hey everybody, Glenn Hausman here from the world famous Peabody Hotel. I got Doug Browne, president of Peabody Hotels and Resorts with me. Heard you say this morning, 20 years. That's incredible for any human being to run a hotel.
I was really young when I started.
I know, they plucked you right out of elementary school. Amazing.
No, you know what? And it's gone by so fast.
Yeah.
It seems like it was yesterday.
I know, it's really incredible. Well, it's amazing how fast time flies, but that being said, it must be because this place is so special. What drew you here, and what keeps you here year after year after year?
You know what, it's really kind of an interesting story. A mutual friend of Marty Bell's and I, son had passed away in Orlando, and I flew in from
and Marty
Mexico.
Bell's is the original owner.
He's the owner, right. And still the owner.
Oh, yeah.
Still the owner.
But they just divested a lot of the other company and then just kind of focused on.
Yeah, but they have stayed here. But I flew from Mexico. I worked in Mexico, and I flew to Orlando for the funeral, and I sat next to Marty Bell's and met him there. And then that night there was a dinner, and we sat next to each other and just kind of hit it off and everything else. About a year later, he reached out and said, hey, why don't you come and talk to us? And jokingly, I said, I'm not sure you can afford me. He said, let us figure that out. And I flew, and we hit it off, and I hit it off with the rest of the heads of Peabody back then, and here I am 20 years later.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad he could afford you. Unfortunately, he's living in a van down by the river now. But yeah, so
as it turns out, I probably didn't ask for enough.
Yeah, right. Isn't that always the way? I want to say a huge congratulations, because not only is this one of the most acclaimed hotels in the country, but your restaurant was just chosen as the #1 restaurant in the United States by USA Today, and you won some other awards too from them.
We did. So just so we get it correct, it's the #1 hotel restaurant.
Okay, right. Sorry,
in the USA, yeah. And then we also won the #1 best pet hotel.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and of course, you saw I bring my dog Tango to work every day, but we love pets.
And thank you for taking care of my pet giraffe, Joey. That was really appreciate that.
And you know what? I think a lot of hotels miss the boat. You know, pet revenue is huge. You know, the opportunity to have pets stay in your private, and you know what?
I saw this Chihuahua once run up the hugest spa charges.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? They're never as much trouble as humans. I mean, you never have domestic arguments between them, and they never tear up the rooms or drink too much. Or, you know, come back from Bill Street having had too much. You know.
All right. So apparently that's everything I did last night.
Well, you know, the cameras don't lie.
Yeah, right. So what does it take to keep that focus and dedication to remain at the top of the market year after year after year? One of the things that we talk about on No Vacancy is the idea of gentle, constant pressure. Does that resonate with you?
Yes. So, you know, one time I had a manager say to me, you know, you change our direction every year. And I said, let's sit down and talk about that. I said, do I really change direction? At the end of the day, it comes down to quality, service, employee and associate morale, and treating people well with dignity and respect. How you aim at it is what changes. And so every year it's looking at how do we get to it. One of the things that we do, and I really have fun doing this, is we take all of our managers to an off-site retreat. So we have 78 salaried managers, and we take them to a place called Victory Ranch. It's about 2 hours away from here. And we split them up, obviously, in two groups. Somebody's got to stay and watch the house. But we take them for about 2.5 days each group, and we do team building and everything else. But prior to that, I always have them read a book. And so that usually is the book sets the theme of what this offsite is about. But at the end of the day, it's always coming back to the same thing: service.
Sadly,
quality.
that book was The Shining by Stephen King.
No.
Well, I think that's pretty amazing, and the consistency of it. What do you think today's luxury guest is craving?
You know, it's so funny that you asked that, because during the pandemic, COVID, you remember that
It rings a little bit of a bell.
So you heard some people in the luxury market say room service was going away, and certain luxury things were disappearing. And I really got my team together and I said, you know what, we're going to double down. You know what, not only is it not going away, but let's figure out how we do it even better.
Right.
And so that's been our focus. I think the person who's willing to pay the high rates and stay in a luxury hotel, they want the service. They want the quality linens. They want maid service. They want turn down service. You know, they want all of those luxury items and to be treated well. After all, they're away from home and you know, they want to enjoy it.
Good, and that's what we're all here for. Give me, before we wrap up, one piece of advice for a young manager to be successful and wind up getting a job like you one day.
You know, I say that one of the things that helped me in my career was being at the right place at the right time. You know, I never missed an opportunity if there was a VIP guest coming in. When I worked on the front desk, I wanted to meet that person. When they arrived, I wanted to welcome. And then I'd go out of my way to escort them to their room. You know, if there was an event, and I still do it to this day. If there's an event around town or whatever, I try to make sure I'm there, because you're going to meet the people who are going to make your career.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. And you all know, I've said this a lot of times, I've been on the road for 25 years, because if you are there, you are in the conversation, and people will recognize that, being that in your own hotel, within your community, or on the national stage. Doug Browne, so great to see you, man.
It's good to see
you. Thank you so much.
And thanks for having me back. You put me off for 15 years.
I know. All right, so we had Doug on back in my old gig, and this is the first time I've had him on No Vacancy Live. But you know what, I'm going to tell you what, this is just a short video. Let's get you on the full 45-minute show sometime real soon.
You got it.
Thank you, sir. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to you later.
Safe travels home. Be well.